Hello, Pizza Pax here, and we're back with our final series of World Championship decks. This is from September 2004, Worlds San Francisco. So we have the four top decks. So we have semifinalist, or quarterfinalist, I think? Gabriel Nassif. Yeah, quarterfinalist, Gabriel Nassif. Semifinalist, Manuel Brevard. Finalist, Ao Paquette. And the champion, Julian Nguyen. I think that's right. Newton? Something like that. I am bad with names. My apologies to Julian. So yeah, this is the last year that they did World Championship decks for Magic the Gathering. It's 2004. And these are all sealed and actually kind of hard to come by. But let's get started with Gabriel Nassif, aka Yellowhat. This was, if I remember correctly, his first World's Top 8. A fantastic player. Still plays today from France, I believe. I follow his stuff quite a bit. He's Yellow Dog on MTGO, if I remember correctly. He was playing a blue-white control deck, I believe. Let's see. Gabriel Nassif's performance at Worlds earned the Parisian the coveted 2004 Player of the Year award. That's right. I forgot about that. Designed to beat the ubiquitous Affinity decks, his counter-heavy blue-white control deck performed well against the entire field. So, ooh, and they're double sealed. Yeah. Let's see, his deck had 2 Eternal Dragon from Scourge, 3 Exalted Angel from Onslaught. Man after my own heart here. I am a big fan of this style of deck. 2 Akroma's Vengeance from Onslaught, 3 Annul from Mirrodin. Definitely shows the metagame that he was playing in. 3 Condescend from 5th Dawn, 4 Decree of Justice from Scourge, 4 Mana Leak from 8th Edition, 3 Rewind from 8th Edition, 4 Thirst for Knowledge from Mirrodin, 3 Wayfarer's Bauble from 5th Edition, 4 Wrath of God, not 5th Edition, 5th Dawn, 4 Wrath of God from 8th Edition, and then for lands we have 4 Cloud Post from Mirrodin, a card that is currently banned in Modern, largely because of decks like this. 4 Flooded Strand from Onslaught, 7 Islands from 8th Edition, 7 Plains from 8th Edition, and 3 Temple of the False God from Scourge. And for sideboard, we have 3 Pacifism from 8th Edition, 4 Purge from Darksteel, 2 Relic Barrier from 5th Dawn, Relic Barrier, of course, a reprint from Legends, 3 Scrabbling Claws from Mirrodin, and 3 Stifle from Scourge. Just a quintessential big mana blue-white control. Very much in the draw-go kind of style as well. Let's see what is in here. So we've got artist proof cards. As with all, we will start from the sideboard. Gabriel Nassif, quarterfinalist. 20-year-old Gabriel Nassif is considered to be the best player never to have won a Pro Tour event. Fair. Designed to beat the ubiquitous Affinity decks, his blue-white control deck also plays well against anti-Affinity decks. Worlds marked the 3rd time in the season that the Parisian made it to the final day of a Pro Tour event, and his performance earned Nassif the coveted 2004 Player of the Year award, a title he will defend vigorously next year. Very nice. So let's see what his sideboard had in place. Pacifism. Wait, Pacifism? Oh yeah, it is Pacifism. I don't know why I read that as Disenchant in my brain. 1 and a white, enchant creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. This is the 8th edition printing with art by Robert Bliss. A classic limited staple. Rarely sees play in Constructed. We had 3 Pacifism. Next up, Purge from Darksteel, art by Pete Ventures. 1 and a white instant. Destroy target artifact, creature, or black creature. It can't be regenerated. Again, definitely endemic of the meta that it was played in. We have 3 for Purge. Relic Barrier. Again, a reprint from Legends, of all places. Pretty sure it was Legends. It was either Legends or Antiquities. I'm pretty sure it was Legends, though. 2 mana artifact. Also art by Natsuo, and this is from 5th Dawn. 2 mana artifact, tap target artifact. Yeah. You can use it to tap down the artifact lands, or, you know, keep control of your opponent's Mirror Enforcers or Ravagers. Just good answer, broadly, even though it seems like absolutely nothing in comparison. Scrabbling Claws. Art by Thomas M. Baxa. This is from Mirrodin. 1 mana artifact, tap. Target player removes a card in his or her graveyard from the game. And then 1 sacrifice Scrabbling Claws. Remove target card in a graveyard from the game. Draw a card. Very reminiscent of Phyrexian Furnace, which still sees a lot of play in premodern, or Relic of Progenitus. It's not quite as good as Relic, but this is the best that we had before Relic got printed. We have 3 copies of Scrabbling Claws. And then Stifle. You know, where it sees play, it is amazing. Just an amazing utility card from Scourge. Art by Danny Orizio. For a blue, it's an instant counter-target activated ability or triggered ability. Mana abilities can't be countered. Stops Thoracle. Stops, you know, fetches. Allows you to cheat in your Phyrexian Dreadnought. You know, it's just such a good card, and sometimes vastly underrated for what it is. Very nice. Collect all 4 World Championship decks. Relive the excitement of the 2004 World Championships with these 4 commemorative decks. Julian, I believe that's Newton. World Champion. At just 15 years old, Julian is the youngest ever Magic the Gathering World Champion. He came out of nowhere to stun the field with a green-white Astral Slide deck that gains tremendous card advantage from Eternal Witness. A.O. Paquette, finalist. Professional Magic the Gathering player A.O. Paquette played the deck that defined the metagame at the 2004 World Championships. With more than 40 artifacts, his affinity deck uses the power of Arcbound Ravager and Disciple of the Vault to race to victory. This is before they banned Disciple of the Vault and the artifact lands in Standard. Just to give you context. Manuel Bevend, semifinalist. Pro Tour veteran Manuel Bevend's artifact-based combo deck uses Crackclan Ironworks to quickly get a Mirror Incubator into play, which then creates 30 or more 1/1 mirror creatures, sometimes as early as the 3rd turn. Yeah. Crackclan Ironworks, famously, was later banned in Modern because of the KCI decks. That's what KCI is, Crackclan Ironworks. And because of the Eggs decks that were also built around the same card. And then Gabriel Nassif, quarterfinalist. Gabriel Nassif's performance at Worlds earned the Parisian the coveted 2004 Player of the Year award, designed to beat the ubiquitous affinity decks. His counter-heavy blue-white control deck performed well against the entire field, which just amazing. Right, now to the main deck. This is one of my favorite Worlds decks of all time. Actually, all 4 of these are fantastic decks and right up my alley. I remember having copies of all of these decks that I played with friends quite heavily and competed quite a bit with during this era. This was right around when I was, you know, able to move around and compete more, because you have friends that could drive and all that. But let's see, Eternal Dragon, art by Justin Sweet. This is from Scourge. This is also not the frame that it was originally printed in. 5 white white for a 5/5 Dragon Spirit with flying. 3 white white, return Eternal Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. Play this ability only during your upkeep. And then Plane Cycling for 2. Funny enough, you can play this ability multiple times during your upkeep. So if you have 12 mana, which is not unheard of, you can get this back into your hand, Plane Cycle it, and then get it back into your hand again. It's not always a good play, but it is something you can do. We have 2 copies of Eternal Dragon, and then it has Plane Cycling for 2, obviously. So you discard it, search your library for planes, and then put it into your hand. And then shuffle. Exalted Angel. Great one. Absolutely defines the metas that it's played in. It sees heavy play in pre-modern, and also saw a ton of play in this round of Standard and the previous round of Standard. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with it. But Exalted Angel from Onslaught, art by Michael Sutphin. 4 white white for a 4/5 Angel with flying, and when it deals damage, you gain that much life. Then it has Morph, 2 white white. So you can play it on turn 3 as a 2/2 for 3 mana, and then on turn 4 you can flip it over and start attacking for 5. Like that's just, or not 5, for 4. With pseudo lifelink, this never actually got eroded to lifelink, so it is a trigger that happens afterwards that can matter sometimes, but just an amazing creature for the time. Still is pretty dang good. We have 3 copies of it, Exalted Angel. Except we have a Chroma's Vengeance. This is the Farewell before Farewell. From Onslaught, art by Greg and Tim Hildebrandt, who are just absolutely amazing fantasy artists. Let's bring it in for that. But 4 white white sorcery, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments, and you can also cycle it for 3. So it's never a dead card. We have 2 copies of Chroma's Vengeance. And as an indicator of the kind of metagame that you are going up against, we have a null in the main deck. So pre-boarded against Affinity, against KCI, it's all the decks like that. This is the Mirrodin printing with art by Brian Snowdy. For a blue, it's an instant counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Just straight counter it. Still sees a lot of play in Pauper, still occasionally sees play in Premodern, and sees play in Vintage and occasionally even Legacy. But got 3 copies in the main deck. Next up, Condescend from Fifth Dawn, art by Ron Spears. X and a blue for an instant counter target spell unless its controller pays X, scry 2. Sometimes you just counter their spell for 1. And then you get to scry 2 and set up your next couple draws. Sometimes you power it out for something big. It still sees play in Pauper occasionally, and is played in Blue Tron in Modern, which is not a meta deck, but does occasionally pop up. Decree of Justice. The last couple of years, this got reprinted into Modern, but one of my absolute favorite cards of all time. This was the Scourge printing with art by Adam Rex. XX 2 white white sorcery. Put X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying into play. Cycling 2 and a white. When you cycle Decree of Justice, you may pay X. If you do, put X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens into play. I think it's later been eroded to make them human, but that would be more recent. Might just be white soldier creatures. And we have 4 copies of Decree of Justice. Just absolute house of a card. Except Mana Leak. This is the 8th edition printing with art by Christopher Rush. 1 in a blue, instant counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Nice, clean counter spell. I would love for them to print this back into Standard. Honestly, don't know why they haven't. They've given us something close to it. It is what it is. We have 4 copies of Mana Leak. Except Rewind. Originally printed in Urza's Saga. Just such a good card. This is the 8th edition printing with art by Dermot Power. 2 blue instant counter target spell, then untap up to 4 lands. In this deck, since you have multiple lands that can tap for more than one mana, this could net you mana. We have 3 copies of Rewind. Thirst for Knowledge. Such a good card. This is the Mirrodin printing. Art by Ben Thompson. 2 and a blue, instant. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card from your hand. Just really lets you dig and lets you start doing it early. We have 4 copies of Thirst for Knowledge. Also a good way to deal with later Wayfarer's Baubles. Speaking of which, Wayfarer's Bauble from Fifth Dawn, art by Daryl Ritchie. For 1, it's an artifact that you can pay 2, tap and sacrifice it to search your library for a basic land card and put it into play tapped, then shuffle your library. It is a colorless ramp spell. Yeah, it costs 3 mana, but over 2 turns, but it's still a colorless ramp spell. There was a card printed into Standard recently. By recently, I mean with Edge of Eternities, that is effectively this in green. And I have a feeling that's going to be a very strong card. Next up, Wrath of God, 8th edition printing, art by Kev Walker. It's good old Wog. Good old Wog. Wrath of God. 2 white sorcery. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. This is why aggro decks want to kill by turn 4. Traditionally. To dodge Wrath of God. If they could get under Wrath of God, they were generally good. So, we have 4 copies of Wrath of God. And why aggro decks being faster than turn 4 is problematic. Next up we have Cloud Post, a card so good it has been banned in multiple formats. It is banned in Pauper, if I remember correctly, and it is banned in Modern. So, it is a land locust from Mirrodin, art by Martina Pilsarova? Yeah, Martina Pilsarova. Cloud Post comes into play tapped. Tap, add 1 mana to your mana pool for each locust in play. Now, keep in mind there weren't a ton of locusts, but if you have 4 of these out, each one taps for 4 mana. It counts itself. So the first one taps for 1, the second one taps for 2, third one makes them all tap for 3, and the fourth one makes them all tap for 4. So you go 1, 4, 9, 16 mana. Like, having 16 mana on turn 4 is amazing. Like, that's unheard of how strong that is. And with things like Wayfarer Bauble that let you ramp in addition to it, you know, why not? We have 4 copies of Cloud Post. Except we have Flooded Strand from Onslaught, art by Rob Alexander. Just one of the best fetches ever printed. It's one of the original OG fetches from Onslaught. Tap, pay a life, sacrifice it, search your library for a plains or island, and put it into play, then shuffle your library. I think they struck gold when they designed these cards. And there are 4 copies of Flooded Strand. Just a very good design that I think is overall good for the game, even though some people argue otherwise. Next up we have Island. So basic islands, we have different arts. I think there's some repetition in the arts. There is. Okay, so it looks like we have 3 of each art. That can't be right because there's 7 islands. Let's see, we have 8th edition printing by John Avon. We have 3 copies. Then we have another 8th edition printing by John Avon. 2 copies. And then the 8th edition printing with art by Tony Sakudlo. Very nice. So we have our planes. Should have 7 of them as well. Yep. 3 of the 8th edition printing, or 3 of the 8th edition art by John Avon with the 2 people in it. 3. Then we have 2 of the 8th edition printing by Matthew Mitchell. And then we have 2 of the other printing other 8th edition printing by John Avon. And then last but not least, we have 3 Temple of the False God with art by Brian Snowdy. From Scourge, tap, add 2 mana to your mana pool. Play this ability only if you control 5 or more lands. Still occasionally sees play in Premodern, sees a lot of play in Commander, which I do not agree with it being played as heavily as it is. It's good, it's not that good. But that is Gabriel Nassif's quarterfinalist blue-white control deck from the 2004 World Championships. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff for the algorithm. It really helps us out, and I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.